And welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I want to thank my special guest, Jason Inman and Joel Daly, for being on the show today, guys. Welcome. Hey. We're going to talk about the best Justice League runs in honor of hopefully one of the best upcoming Justice League runs we're going to see. Holy crap. Yeah. This is a Jason idea. I'm so proud of him for coming up with it. He gave me he hit two out of the park, and I'm like, we got to pick one. I guess we'll pick this one.
We can do the other one next week.
Yeah, why not? When we have some hindsight on how Krypton did. But in the so let's jump into it. This is the best Justice League runs because holy shit, this Justice League run looks really exciting. I don't, it's just the first issue, but holy crap. Let's talk about that for a second. Scott Snyder's taken over Justice League finally. Yeah.
Is it finally?
Here's the thing. When he left Batman, I'm like, well, where's he gonna go? He can either do Swamp Thing, Animal Man, or Justice League, and that's it.
I mean, Dark Knight's Metal was basically a Justice League story.
Dark Knight's Metal,
with a heavy tone of Batman.
It's all Batman. The book's called Dark Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it sucks.
But the other guys are there.
Yeah. I will say that if you were to give this to any other writer at DC, it would seem weird. Like Scott Snyder, since he is the big dog of DC, this seems the most appropriate to give him Justice League.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, DC is very interesting right now because they're sort of turning into like what Marvel was in the 2000s.
Yes.
Where they have these big dogs that are locked up in these corners. Like we have Tom King at Batman, we have Brian Michael Bendis over here on Superman, and we have a couple other people like Young Animal and stuff like that. So there's only so many places that Scott Snyder could go without just leaving DC straight out,
right?
Which I don't think he's going to do.
No.
And it's like, yeah, of course, we'll give him Justice League because Justice League really isn't doing anything right now.
No,
it's
and
true.
Hasn't for a long time.
Inexcusably, it's been like one of the lowest top tier books, and in terms of quality, which is like having a crappy Avengers book when you're making Avengers movies. Like it's just confusing.
Yeah.
I will
argue that the first storyline that Brian Hitch did and the last storyline that Brian Hitch did were great. I think everything in the middle kind of suffers.
Right.
I kind of wish that his whole run was like those two big ideas, but I don't know. Yeah, can I ask the panel this?
Please.
When was the last time you guys think Justice League was great? What was a must read?
Oh man. Okay.
Rough.
That's funny.
Do you count
New 52
Justice Leagues of America in there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because I've really liked some Justice League of America runs, although those fizzled out pretty damn quick. Damn it. This is a tough question, Jason.
Yeah.
See, I think it's pre-New 52.
Oh. I was going to say I think New 52 because like it was Geoff Johns and Jim Lee starting out and holy crap. Like and of course the first main villain was Darkseid. It was Jim Lee's beautiful pencils. It was the debut of those awful costumes. It was the new status quo. They were meeting for the first time. It was a must read. It
was the first New 52 book.
Right.
It came out the same day as the last issue of Flashpoint.
That's right. Good point. I think that was a must read.
Even little of it mattered.
Right. Regardless of its relevancy, I think you had to read it. In fact, I did. I wasn't even reading Justice League before then, I jumped right in.
I bought the single issues. For me, I agree with you. That's a good point. That first arc is a must read, but it's after that arc, it kind of becomes very forgettable. And I compare Geoff Johns' Justice League to a Michael Bay movie.
Big time.
It's a lot of flash. There's a lot of big explosions, but a lot of it really doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Well, it also kind of cheapens Darkseid in a big bad way. He becomes like a grumbling idiot. Like, why didn't you just use Mongol if you wanted to use a crappy Darkseid? Like,
with another bad design.
Well, also, why is it that everybody seems to think that complicating an iconic design is an improvement? Like, everybody, like from the New 52 designs entirely, we'll give everybody pop collars, awful piping, and Darkseid gets armor even though he's made of freaking rock. Like, what are you doing? The dude is basically I don't know. I always love the classic Darkseid, like tunic, and kind of like blue skirt.
I like
look.
it. I hate the skirt though.
I like the skirt because the dude's like,
skirt.
I'm not beyond wearing a skirt. Dr. Doom wears a skirt.
Okay, all right.
Are you going to make
so
fun of
badass
skirt
he can wear a skirt?
That's right. He's like, I can rock the skirt. He's like a Scot. Really quick, I just want to acknowledge the super chat before we jump into it.
Sure.
And we'll get into Joel's answer. Jai Shachnev says, Snyder asked fans on Twitter about whom we as an audience would like on the Justice League, and almost everyone wanted the Justice League animated series team. Glad we're getting that. And Cyborg, which I think having him is a Johns mandate. Interesting theory that Cyborg has to be on the team as a mandate. I think it's more like it's not a mandate so much as it looks really bad if you kick Cyborg off the team.
Yeah.
It was like everybody's been demanding Cyborg be a member of the Titans, and I'm like, if you do it now, it kind of looks like a demotion.
It looks like admitting defeat, and hey, that 2020 Cyborg movie's a coming. We got to work on the multimedia. We tells ya.
I still think Cyborg is a good idea on the Justice League. I like him on the Justice League. I actually think that's one of the better things the New 52 did, was putting Cyborg on that team. Now, I do agree that kicking Martian Manhunter off that team was a mistake, because I love Martian Manhunter, and he's been in like almost every Justice League of all time.
Yeah.
But you know what? Cyborg being on that team is not a mandate. I can guarantee you that, because I guarantee you every team, whoever's writing the next run of Teen Titans, and I guarantee you they've already decided it, is jonesing for Cyborg.
Sure.
Like, would take Cyborg in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because he's a movie star now.
Right.
But I think, to be honest with you, I think him being on the Justice League is a great move, because again, all these super teams, the big super teams, are super white.
Yeah.
And the more multicolored we can make them, the better off they'll be.
It is nice. Dwayne McDuffie famously said when he was developing the Justice League cartoon, when it's like, we got to put some different colored people on this team, or else it's a bunch of white people lording over humanity in a satellite base. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Really quick, I'll just knock out these other two super chats. They're from the Red Samurai. He says, Jon Stewart's back, baby! Hope he gets a solo book. Not a fan of Tom King's Batman, but he might do great on Justice League, or on Green Lantern. And Kenneth Rocafort needs to draw GL. Fair enough.
Yes.
I think Tom King's Batman's the worst run in the last 30 years. Moving on.
Really?
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's gone down. I just read the newest issue now, and I was pulling my hair out a little bit by the end.
Yeah, I can't.
I agree to disagree.
I can't get
I
into
think
it.
It's better. I think it's better more recently than when he started.
Oh, I think it's only gotten worse.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
He's gotten more defensive on social media.
This is fair,
feels every week now.
And the additional one was the first 2 volumes of Geoff Johns' Justice League kind of sucked. It felt like Jim Lee wrote them, but then after it's good, but Cyborg makes it boring. Oh, okay, because like Throne of Atlantis is cool.
Oh, Throne of Atlantis was awesome.
And that's still Johns, but I think it's Ivan Rice's art, which I think is great and a good compliment to Jim Lee's beginning.
I'll have something nice to say about Cyborg, actually, as we talk about this.
Yeah, I would argue that Cyborg doesn't make the team as boring as Shazam does.
Oh, poor
because of 2 Supermen?
Yeah, it's too many Supermen, and of course, like, nobody knows what to do with Shazam, so they're like, is he a man-boy? Is he a Superman complement? Should he be, like, more pure than Superman? I don't know what to do with this guy, and the fact is, like, nobody knows what to do with Shazam. They don't even know what to freaking call him, because his name's Captain Marvel, for God's sake. I'm in that camp. I mean, like...
Oh, are you? I see. I'm exactly the opposite. I've always liked him as Shazam more than Captain Marvel.
See,
I've stopped fighting it at this point.
Oh yeah, no. I used to like defiantly call him Captain Marvel. Now I'm just like, obviously it's Shazam. I don't want to make things confusing. I do think he's a redundant character. He's less iconic. He's more boring, and I don't care for his magic. So, I don't care. He's got to say a magic word. He trades places with a kid. Like Superman, doomed planet, kindly couple. I'm in. Like, it's basically sci-fi mythology. I'm in. But
I like
Captain
the
Marvel
lore around Shazam.
Really? Because that's the thing I don't like. I think it's boring.
Well, see, to me, it's always like, oh man, some serious stuff is happening in the magical side of the DC universe. Wizard Shazam has shown up to talk about it. And talk of eternity.
Well, if it's cool and magical, then I'd rather see the Spectre or Constantine or Etrigan or like even the Endless. But Shazam. I mean, like, also the magical element of DC is so, like, dark and gritty and, vertigo-y. And then Shazam shows up and he's like, huzzah! And it's like, what are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah. I've always thought that maybe Shazam should be one of those books that is locked in a time period. Like, if we're going to read a Shazam book, I kind of feel like it should take place in the 1950s. Like, it should be in that G. Willikers when Shazam sold more than Superman.
Right.
When Fawcett Comics was doing so well that DC Comics bought that character out so he couldn't be a threat to Superman anymore.
Yeah.
Morrison nailed that in Multiversity so much to
Yes.
the point it's like, yep, this is Fawcett City in the Fawcett universe, and we call him Captain Marvel here.
Yep.
That's
and that
cool.
issue was so good.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's a way better idea. Although I also like the idea of like maybe making him kind of like an out of time kind of character. You know, like maybe he starts in the 50s and then you just like do a time jump where he wakes up, you know, like Thor more or less, fish out of water kind of thing.
But yeah, I do agree with you, Sal. Like Captain Marvel is one of these characters. To me, he's almost like the X-Men, where I kind of feel he works better when he's in his little pocket corner.
Right. Yes, we've had this discussion. If you haven't already watched it, Jason was actually on the couch with us, and we talked about 3 ways to fix the X-Men. Jason's was to make them separate from the Marvel Universe. I do not agree, but I do understand.
That was a great conversation.
It was. Otis Cunningham says, Jorge Jimenez's art is enough for me to read the new Justice League run. Big time. Taylor Petcher says, Black Adam's more interesting than Billy. I think that's evident by the fact that they cast him first in the movie.
That's perfect fair.
That being said, so we started this conversation by saying, what are some of the best Justice League runs? Because, goddamn, even if you don't agree with Scott Snyder writing Justice League, you do agree it's an exciting time for Justice League comics. So let's jump into it. I know that you all probably have lists. I'll bet we have a lot of crossover. So if we do, feel free to add like a sentence or two to that conversation. But you know, whoever says it, they earn that spot. So I'll let our special guest Jason start off. Jason, what's a seminal run in Justice League history for you?
Can I start out at the top?
Please, yeah, no.
I mean, for me, there is no beating the Grant Morrison JLA run.
I have at least
Agreed.
2 Grant Morrisons I've written.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, the Grant Morrison JLA run with Howard Porter, when they relaunched it as JLA for the very first time, you get Rock of Ages, you get World War III,
Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel's Mark Waid.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All these crazy storylines. I mean, he introduces Jakeem Thunder. They had the JSA JLA crossover. Grant Morrison's the only writer to make Electric Superman work.
Interesting, or at least you watch him.
The best Electric Superman moment is in JLA when he stops the moon with his electromagnetic powers. But I don't know. Like I have said it time and time again on my podcast, Geekish Lesson. I don't think any writer has ever beat Grant Morrison's JLA, and he did what no other writer has done in 40 issues. He only had a run of 40 issues.
I completely agree with that. Grant Morrison's run is unparalleled, and it's funny because it's his run. Here's a picture of it. Whoa, that's really big. His run is what you imagine Justice League runs to be like they should be.
Especially now.
You know, like everybody. There we go.
Sorry to interrupt you. Think about this too. He had a sidekick Flash. He had Wally West. He didn't have Barry Allen.
Yep.
He had a sidekick Green Lantern. He had Kyle Rayner. And he was forced to deal with Wonder Woman dying in the middle of a run and Hippolyta joining the JLA, and Superman gets electric powers in the middle of his run.
Big time.
And the stories are still great. It's funny because I had a Wizard special JLA special, and it's all about this run, and I loved reading it because Grant Morrison was telling about all his ideas that he never got to do. Like, he wanted to bring Hawkman into the series, and that's why we got Zariel, because DC wouldn't let him touch Hawkman. But it's funny because before he took the run, I remember a lot of people being like, why are you giving Justice League to the guy who made Animal Man?
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of weird talk about Grant Morrison taking over Justice League and people being like, is this going to work? And Justice League and Morrison just being like, why are the Justice League so crappy? Why don't we just make it cool? And if you didn't have Grant Morrison's Justice League, you do not have the New Avengers. Straight up.
Yeah.
Because that's literally Bendis going, how come they have a book with everyone's favorite characters and we don't?
The Big Seven comes from that book.
Absolutely. Even though the trinity of super characters is almost never represented in a run of Justice League, this is the team you think of. Grant Morrison manages to deliver on like your Mandela effect mind where you think there was ever a time when the Justice League was like relevant and big and cool and featured all these major characters. And even then, he managed to use characters who were not all that big and interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not wrong. That's like the number one run.
I don't think. I mean, I would love to hear what are your guys' choices, but like for me, that's my favorite run of Justice League, and I think it's the most impactful.
Yeah, Chase.
Very hard to argue that.
Chase Eichler says Rock of Ages is my favorite Justice League story of all time. Yeah, I mean World War III or World. I don't remember which one it was called, but it's the one where the white Martians show up. Amazing. Moad Shali says the best Justice League runs is the cartoon, in my opinion. We'll get there.
That's also really good.
Aubrey Kusi Apia says, I think you guys might be sleeping on Priest's run.
Priest Run is solid. I've been reading it. He's doing interesting things. He's doing more interesting things than the last guy was.
I think it's better than Hitch, but it's still not. It's still leaving me in the cold.
It's an acquired taste, and I'm sure he already saw the writing on the wall where it's like, look, you get one volume, do whatever you want, wrap it up, don't write anything beyond this.
Yeah.
Well, you guys saw I assume the June solicitations, right, for DC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell everybody that's currently on any book at DC right now are the fill-in guys.
Oh,
yes.
You can tell. Like, you can kind of tell because they're moving people around, and you notice it's like it says part 1 of 5, and you're like, well, why is everything gonna sort of conclude around July or August?
I don't know.
What's happening then? It's sad too because you got like books like Green Arrow. It's like, oh, you get 2 fill-in arcs back to back. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. You can't lose that momentum. DC is like crushing it, and then it's like, well, we gotta do this thing.
We talked about this on a past episode, Sal. They basically did the entire New 52 cycle. They did about 4 years of work in 2.
Yeah.
And now it's finally caught up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Red Samurai says, best Justice League stories are from the cartoon, Secret Origin, Legends, Twilight, Tabula Rasa, Only a Dream, A Better World, Hereafter, Comfort and Joy, etc. Can't argue with that.
Inspired by books from these runs.
Right? And I want to throw a quick shout out to Tyler Cox. This is off topic, but he said that me and Tiffany getting married inspired him to propose to his girlfriend, and she said yes. So congratulations to Tyler. Way to go. So Jason, yes.
Happy that one had a happy ending.
I know, yeah. She said no, but I'm still glad I took the plunge. Like,
what if his super chat was like, and I blame you, Sal?
yeah, you son of a bitch. I'd be like, well, man, I'm going to send you a super chat. I am sorry. Listen, take those risks. But yeah, Justice League, New World Order, and so many more. Grant Morrison's run is incredible. Joel, what else we got?
Well, I figured, as you said, Sal, we're all probably going to pick a lot of the same ones, so I wanted to lead off with a dark horse here. We mentioned Geoff Johns, obviously. You mentioned the early stuff, the New 52 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me blow your mind here. I'm actually going to mention the latter stuff, like Forever Evil onward. There was some interesting stuff in there that I don't think gets a lot of credit. We were kind of dumping on Cyborg before. I think the best Cyborg Justice League story was told by Johns during that time, when all the other heroes got messed up by the crime syndicate, and it was Cyborg alone, and he had to upgrade his body and reconcile with his father, and then he led the Metal Men in a guerrilla war against the crime syndicate. I'm like, this is cool. If Cyborg was ever close enough to working on the Justice League, it was right here, right now. It then didn't go anywhere, and we lost the Metal Men for years, but it was pretty good. Also around this time, they start doing the whole Lex Luthor turning good and joining the Justice League for a little bit, and he hung around with them. They fought the Amazo virus.
And Captain Cold.
And Captain Cold, man, he was great on that. I wish that could have kept going for a little bit. It didn't, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it had a great element of, like, when is the shoe going to drop? And then in Luthor's case, never does. And you're like, this is just, as it turns out, you just engendered yourself to me, and I dig it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
That run led into this really cool story idea that I loved in Rebirth, where Luthor was wearing this Superman armor.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that armor looked badass. And to be honest with you, they're making an action figure of it, and I want that action figure.
Oh,
so
good.
bad.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's as I call it, the superior Superman armor, where Lex,
nice. I like that.
which they can't use, but they were like, yeah, no, it's. I love that moment, especially when pre-rebirth Superman, post-convergence Superman is like, you take that cape off, man. That's my cape. I mean, it's my dead other version's cape, but still, it's messed up. You're wearing it, and I'm like, this is a cool story.
That's not for you.
That's more
and
Superman.
Darkseid War. Towards that end, Darkseid War, I do think, is probably Jeff's best story on his Justice League run. Like,
it got a little long, but it was good.
And it doesn't really come to a satisfying. Like, you can tell that they're trying to finish it before Rebirth,
right?
Yeah.
So it gets really compacted. But I thought, yeah, it was one of the better story, if not the best storyline from his run.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best. Technically, New 52, is it? Kind of.
I'd agree. Yeah, it is New 52.
DCU-ish.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
went right up.
But it's also funny because it it's easily one of Geoff Johns' best Darkseid stories in the New 52 because he doesn't have him talk or do anything and then kills him like within the first 2 issues. Like he just gets him out of there. The whole damn thing's called Darkseid Warriors, not even in the damn book. But it's still a riveting story, and of course the art couldn't be beat. That was an amazing.
Plus, we got Mr. Miracle and Barda back in that story after
Yes.
a long time. They got to hang out, but by the end, they're including everything there. You got the crime syndicate fighting the evil forces. You got the Green Lantern Corps coming in and getting beaten up. It was basically like a giant wrestling match. Oh, who's going to do a run in next?
Don't forget
true.
the Anti-Monitor, too.
And the Anti-Monitor.
Anti-Monitor was in it.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a big story.
Cool moments. I really liked that story when I was gritting my teeth and being like, DC's not doing anything fun except for this really cool story that involves everybody. But yes, I agree with that. That's fair. Good point. Nice come from behind there, man. Tevye Smolka says, do you think that John, a.k.a. Superboy, and Damian reform the Young Justice team? No. Oh, really? Yeah. I was going to say, like, they have to bring back Young Justice at some point, but I was wondering when they're going to... Yeah, okay. Yep. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like,
I mean, I don't know anything.
no, and how? It's not like you have any connection with any connection, for current or former, with a company that might be doing something like that. But wink and nudge.
We do know that the Teen Titans are getting a special in the summertime that's all about them reforming, and we got Emiko the Red Arrow on there. We got Kid Flash. It's like, oh, so the teams are getting shuffled around.
Yeah.
You don't say. I wonder why.
And Robin.
That leads more into that thing I was talking about with the people in the fill-in arcs and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, they're shifting some things around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think so. As far as other runs go, so we talked about the New 52 Justice League. We talked about Grant Morrison's run. I'm going to throw out one that I kind of really dug, despite a lot of anger and vitriol about it. I really liked Brad Meltzer's run.
Oh.
I thought it was...
Oh, the Lightning Saga stuff?
Yeah. I thought it was a cool idea, and it had such a great hook in the beginning, where you had just the Trinity being like, we have to rebuild the team, and it has to be stronger and more interesting. And then they kind of whizzed it, but I don't know. It got me interested in Justice League at a time when you could never have gotten me interested in Justice League. Also, I think Phil Jimenez's art was in that, and it was just really, really solid.
Yeah, it was Ed Benes, too.
Yes, Ed Benes, thank you.
Yeah.
I liked...
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I was excited for that run, and I remember I bought the single issues because at that time I was like, Brad Meltzer can do no wrong. I still think he can't.
Yeah.
But I remember being off-put by those issues because I think there was a 0 issue.
Yes, there was.
Right. Yeah, so they went 0, 1, 2, 3, and for those 4 issues, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman just looking at pictures.
I kind of like that. That was like a lot of fun.
4 issues.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it's fun for me. For me, I like those moments where they sit down and they interact and they kind of like just get their bearings. I also liked watching building a team versus actually seeing that team executed sometimes, because the promise is a little better than the execution most of the time. I really, really liked the argument between the three about Nightwing and whether he belongs on the Justice League, and I'm like, and they're like, yes, he does, and they're like, but he will say no. I'm like, this is cool, and it really is just because of the strength, I think, of Identity Crisis. I loved Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
But
I will say, Sal, I love Brad Meltzer's second storyline, the Lightning Saga.
Yes, that's fair.
I love that storyline. I think that storyline's awesome, and the way it crosses over, the combinations they do, like, I think it's like Starman, Sandman, and Batman going into Arkham Asylum.
Right? That's a killer pitch, and it actually happened, and you can read it, and it's cool. Andy615 agrees with us. He says Meltzer was his first JLA book, and he's happy to hear that it got some love. I agree, man. Ultimately, I think it got away from itself, but there was some real promise in that series. And some really, really cool character moments, which is all I'm ever asking for. All I want is for characters to be real and be cool. And and Meltzer can do that. Is it Meltzer? I'm always confused if it's Metzler or Meltzer, but yeah.
No, it's Meltzer.
Right,
I'm pretty certain it's Meltzer.
I've never met him, so I have no idea.
Basinger?
Yeah, Basinger. So we're back to Jason. Jason, what else we got, man?
Well, I'm gonna just keep this. I don't know if I want to go with a dark horse pick or straight up obvious pick. You know what? Let's go dark horse. Screw it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give some major props to Dwayne McDuffie's run. Which is the follow up to Brad Meltzer's. Not only is Dwayne McDuffie one of the Justice League animated's best writers. I mean, he wrote Starcross and stuff like that. But I love in his run. He sort of created another really cool DC milestone crossover, which I thought was neat. His run also, there was that stupid storyline where Amanda Waller was scooping up all the criminals and throwing them on a planet. Was it Salvation Run?
Salvation Run. I talk about Salvation Run all the time.
The best part of that was the Justice League tie-in by Dwayne McDuffie because it was the Justice League having to save their biggest villains.
That's a cool idea.
And it was a great idea, and they had to save all their villains, and that was like the best part of Salvation Run. I thought was the Dwayne McDuffie stuff, but it was so interesting because I can remember reading that book, and at that, and I have a lot of deep love for Milestone. Like I love Icon, I love Hardware, I love Static, and so when Icon showed up, I was like, holy cow! I didn't expect this to happen. But a lot of people have forgotten about Dwayne McDuffie's run. It's interesting. Dwayne McDuffie is responsible for a lot of stuff in comic books. Like he created Damage Control. He put Black Panther and Storm on the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
He did a lot of big stuff that people have forgotten, and he has a great Justice League run, and I hardly hear anybody talk about it.
No, it's true. And the question is it collected? Because it ought to be at this point. Like, so many great runs are just kind of like forgotten or left to like weird, like cheap collections.
I think it was collected back in the day.
Right. Okay. So you can find it in bins,
currently.
But it should be.
What's great too about that Dwayne McDuffie thing is he did so much writing about it after the fact of his experience writing a big team book, and he had one of my favorite quotes in there when he wanted to put another African American character on the team, and look, you can't do that. You put two African American characters on the same team book. It's a black book. Then he was like.
Yeah. His blog posts about writing that book are insane.
I bet.
Really eye-opening.
And he was no stranger to sharing this information with his fans, even during the run, which arguably was how he got fired off of the run.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, yeah, here's what's happening, here's what I'm planning, and they're like, what are you doing? Stop telling everybody what you're planning. And he's like, why? We should be open.
Because Joel, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember. Yeah, he was going to put Icon on the team.
Yes, he wanted to.
Yeah, because it was right around New Krypton where Superman was going to leave, and he was going to replace Superman with Icon.
That's a great idea.
Which would have been so cool.
Which would have been so cool!
All those Milestone characters should be bigger. That's another thing we should talk about. DC, what are you doing with Milestone right now? I know you're stuck in a legal battle because McDuffie's wife owns like 51% of the company, but you didn't know that, and you already planned to launch it with some of the other guys involved.
Just keep huddling away from it, and we'll call it a day. Jai Shadev, sorry about that, man.
Bless you.
Is talking about a run we're definitely going to talk about. Justice League International, just for Batman and Green Lantern One Punch moment. That was the happiest I was while reading Justice League. Well, you should keep reading it because I'll mention this. Justice League International from DeMatteis, Giffen, and McGuire is such a great run because it humanizes the Justice League, brings them down to earth. It really bolsters up Martian Manhunter's role on the team, makes him kind of a sympathetic character. He's surrounded by all these dysfunctional people. He's just trying to keep the team together, and it just isn't happening because he's dealing with horrible costume Black Canary and friggin' Ted and Booster. It's just a really, really fun story. And it's all brilliantly collected, and of course Maguire's art has never been better, I think, than during that run. And it's just a really cool idea of taking the Justice League into a place you never would have imagined, where, they've got, like, it's almost like they've X-Men'd and Avengered the Justice League, where they have, like, a government liaison, and they got to deal with, Maxwell Lord.
Ooh.
It's just a really, really cool concept and a good execution. You can it's almost timeless. You can read it anytime, and you can really, really find, like, if you ever dismissed those characters, read this story, you will find your love of Ted and Booster at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have that omnibus. It's so awesome.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite omnibuses.
I have like a big trade, but not the Omni.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Maguire loves that run. He'll draw.
correct, man.
He'll redraw it every time. The image I showed you was just him redrawing it and being like, "Here's everybody who appeared in this freaking run. Here you go." It's like, dude, I get it. You are proud of this run. Good for you. Joel, I guess you're up.
The Keith Gether. I was going to mention that one right away.
Of course.
We all like the same ones. What's another good one here? Let me do another dark horse on this one. And I'm going old school on this one. I'm going really old on this one. Jerry Conway wrote the Justice League of America for a little bit in 1980, and the story that always sticks out in my mind is, oh God, why can't I remember the name of it? It's been so long ago. It was another Darkseid-centric story. Darkseid wanted to destroy Earth 2 and replace Earth 2 with Apocalypse because he's a dick and that's what he does. And the Justice League's like, we can't let that happen, so we gotta go to Earth 2 and we gotta help out our counterparts there. And it's like, oh, cool, it's a nice crossover, and they're paying homage to this old run and all this other stuff, and get to see these characters again. And that was fun and that was cool. Conway is just a workhorse of a writer, and like you read his, even up to Renew Your Vows and his Carnage from just a couple years ago, the dude just still has it.
He really does. Yeah. I honestly was surprised by how much I enjoyed and how relevant Conway's book was for his Renew Your Vows and his Carnage run. Dude still got it. I actually I talked to him at New York Comic Con this past year, and super friendly and very proud of his work. And is always happy to hear that you like his recent stuff, because he's like, thank you for not just giving me a Gwen Stacy book.
He writes like a young man is the thing. Like, you wouldn't think he's as old as he is. Like,
this decrepit old man is really, really young.
Well, that happens to some writers. I mean,
no,
I'm
it's
sorry,
true.
Chris Claremont, you're still writing like you're in 1985.
Yeah.
You're a great writer, but you are.
No, Conway's like the Scorsese of the comic book world, because Scorsese made that Wolf of Wall Street movie. I'm like, this is made by a person who made Entourage. There's no way that Scorsese's like 78 years old and making this freaking movie. Yeah. By the way, interestingly enough, I just read a thing. This is just a Conway tangent. Apparently, he was forced to change the Renew Your Vows story to feature Venom, to make MJ into Venom, because the numbers dipped on Renew Your Vows and every other Marvel book during that month, and Marvel blamed Conway, and so they're like, you got to change it. One of the Mary Jane variant covers we released was of her as Venom, and that was the most popular one. So we're gonna Gwenpool this up. You got to make MJ into Venom in your run. And he was like, that sucks. I quit. And they were like, that's fine, we'll give it to Jodie Hauser. She won't tank the book. And then she did. So, there you have it.
Is it officially canceled?
It's still solicited.
It's still alive, but who's reading it at this point?
I agree with you, though. We're going to go Renew Your Vows tangent here.
Yeah, please. No.
I love that book, and I was, as soon as they were like, we're going to time jump it, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Nope. Well, why don't you just call
time jump it means you don't get why we like it.
You time jump it, you just give it to fucking DeFalco and have him do the Mayday book again. Yeah. Because nobody wants to read about Dan Slott's joke character unless Jerry Conway is building a family story. He got on that book to tell a story about a dude and his wife and their little girl, not to tell a freaking clone of Spider-Girl. That sucks. And the first 3 issues the art dipped off, the writing is hackneyed and lame. It's just not the same. And now they can have a tangible thing. They could say, you don't want the marriage back? Look at how badly Renew Your Vows sells.
Yeah, that's true.
So screw you.
You did that. You know what you did.
Exactly. But yeah, no, good call. Good reach getting Conway's Justice League run. Really quick, into the super chat. Here we go. Taylor Petchter says, I'm surprised Joel or Jason hasn't mentioned Generation Lost.
I love Generation Lost. I kind of feel that's part of Justice League International in my head. I feel that's the conclusion to Justice League International, which is why the reason I didn't bring it up. But I'll tell you what, that was one of DC's bi-weekly series that is actually great, besides 52.
Nice. And Noah Botello says, have any of you read formerly known as the Justice League, or I Can't Believe It's Not the Justice League?
No,
I have not.
Actually.
Yeah. They're,
yes.
They're just modern Justice League International tales. It's basically, they're kind of in between the issues you've read. They're enjoyable, they're fun. I don't know if I would call them great. But but they're worth a read.
That's fun.
Fair enough.
Are they collected in the Omni, or is it like was it too?
I think they're separate. I think they're separate. Yeah,
Cool.
Because the international omnibus that they just released doesn't even collect the entire run. I think it only goes like the first 30 issues, 40 issues, I think.
Interesting.
And they wrote almost 100 issues of that.
Yeah, that book went on.
Ran a long time.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out a pick just to screw up the. No, Jason, you're up. I think. If we're going in order. All right, I'll throw it out there. This is not really even. I don't like this run. But I think the story is so iconic and celebrated that people think it's one of the best runs, and it's Tower of Babel / Mark Waid and Howard Porter's run.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I think
we had to mention Waid at some point.
I mean, Waid gets it. Waid gets Superman. Waid gets the Justice League. Waid knows how to craft an amazing pitch. Tower of Babel is a solid, incredible, can't believe it took this long to do pitch. Its execution sucks, and Howard Porter's art is not on par with this story. This story should be epic and incredible, and it kind of is, but it looks really dated and weak, and it's just not well executed, I don't think. I think it meanders. I think it's overly complicated. I think that the concept is way more pure than the execution. Like, Ra's steals Batman's stuff and his parents, thereby screwing everybody up. Like, that's cool. The amount of where are we going with this? Who's involved? What's Talia's role? It just becomes a kind of convoluted mess that I would not have expected from Mark Waid being like, here's something that's awesome. But yeah, so
I think lots of people hold that book up too in the Batman can beat anyone with enough prep time. Look how much plans he has to beat everybody.
It was the beginning of Bat God, I think. I mean, like, Morrison loved Batman.
Grant Morrison as Bat God.
Yes.
But
yeah.
You know, Mark Waid has a better story in his Justice League run. I think it's maybe it's the story after that, or 2 stories out of that, but it was his final Justice League story, and it's the one where the Justice League meet their alter egos in the flesh.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
I do know what you're talking about.
Hitch.
Right, and it looks
wow,
dope, and it's a way cooler story.
It's a much better story, but it's the idea like Batman and Superman are in the Batcave, and Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne show up.
Yeah,
is basically the start of the story, and you're just like, what? And Brian Hitch designs these sort of future versions of all their main costumes, and I tell you, it is literally the best Flash costume I've ever seen. And I cannot believe that DC didn't adopt that as the Flash's costume. But that is Mark Waid's much better Justice League story.
I think that's Divided We Fall, and I think you're absolutely right.
But it was his final one,
Yeah.
Was that run also Midsummer's Nightmare? Because that's a fun one, too.
Ooh, maybe that's one.
For Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the book that launched the Grant Morrison run.
Oh, okay. That was another really good one.
Cool.
Yeah, that is a good
See, all these Justice League stories run together at a point. Who did that? It's been going forever. It's like it's been going for 75 years.
And that's the thing. Like, we could have done a thing where it's like best Justice League stories. We're just talking about runs. Just like people who were on this book for a time who told the most solid runs of those stories. Like, Waid does a good job, but everybody remembers Tower of Babel more. And it's not worth it as much as Divided We Fall was. But yeah, good point. All right, since I cut in line, Jason, you want to take it over?
You know, a run that I liked the beginning of that I think was kind of torpedoed was the run known as Justice League United / Canada.
Oh, yeah!
By Jeff Lemire.
The Jeff Lemire Justice League run, which is in the New 52.
Yeah.
He reinvents Adam Strange's costume, and I think he gives Adam Strange a badass new costume.
Yes, he does. Makes him Canadian, too. That's why he's always wearing red and white, eh? Because he's
yeah. But his new costume is sweet. And that run, like, the first arc of it's really good, and it is this sort of like Justice League International book where it's like Green Arrow and the Atom's there and Stargirl's there and Martian Manor's there, and you're like, this team really shouldn't be a team,
and yet,
but they work. And then what happens is, it's either the second arc or the third arc, they try to introduce the Legion of Superheroes into it. And you can kind of tell that Jeff Lemire is kind of like, I've got an idea for the Legion of Superheroes.
Clearly
Let's see if DC lets me do it.
Right.
And they obviously don't.
and it's long, and it goes on forever,
and it's just so confusing.
It is. and only Jeff Lemire cares about that run too. Touched on the Rand Thanagar War again because they go to Rand and they hang out with those characters and they fight Blythe, the shape-changing villain. They kill Hawkman for like the 7th time.
And isn't Sexy Lobo in that run too, I think?
Yes,
oh, no.
He sure is in that. But he's actually pretty good in that one because he's acting like how Lobo should act. That book, too, Jeff Lemire also invented a brand new Cree superhero. And I don't mean Cree as in Marvel. I mean as in the Native American tribe of Canada. That's Cree with a C, not a K. Equinox, who he builds her backstory, gives her a cool costume, and then she disappears forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember he did a lot of he did a lot of events around Canada because that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't read the book.
It was fun.
I saw the
first trade.
I should, because it looked cool, but I was like, I can't. Like, everything New 52, I was like, get away. I'm like, if you can't get Batman working, although Snyder's run on Batman is like, literally, Snyder's run on Batman is just, I don't care about whatever the New 52 thing is, I'm just doing what I was going to do before. I'm just doing what I want, until he did Zero Year. But yeah, I was like, if you can't get Superman working, I don't give a shit. Get away. I was like, I'm all Marvel right now, and but I skipped that. But I should pick it up because, like as we said, like there are a couple of really cool moments in New 52 that completely nail it. Future's End, or no, oh no, I meant Forever Evil.
Yeah,
Future's End. Woof. Anyway, God, there was a Future thing that I liked from the New 52. I don't remember what it was. Ah, well, doesn't matter. Joel, take it away. What's next?
Okay, well, because Jason got me thinking down this line, and thank you for that. The JLA run that the Jeff Lemire run spun out of and was the successor to, that was another run that was only good for a minute. Who wrote that? Was that also Jeff Lemire? I'm talking the team that had Martian Manhunter and Katana and Hawkman on it. Which
oh, no, that's a Geoff Johns book. That was Justice League of America.
Which was, which was only good for a volume and only existed to set up the events of Forever Evil. Because it's like, okay, we need Amanda Waller and Steve Trevor to put together a new team to challenge the main Justice League in case they go rogue, and also to, fight this new coming up secret society of supervillains so we can get that story started. It was only really good for an arc. What made me laugh my ass off is they're like, yeah, we have a Green Lantern too, and he's Baz. Doesn't show up in the first arc at all, and by the time he does show up, we're right into tie-ins. He never matters. He never interacts with the rest of the team.
Was that the team that had Catwoman on it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yes, it was Suicide Squad Justice League.
Yeah,
it was. To which Waller even says, Catwoman on the team? That's ridiculous. She belongs on one of my Suicide Squads, not on one of this team.
The only good part of that book was at the same time they were doing Justice League of America, they were publishing a Justice League of America Vibe series.
Yes.
And that it's like 10 issues, and it's a new origin of Vibe, and it's where they give him the new costume that he has now in The Flash. And it's written by Geoff Johns and Sterling Gates. That series is awesome and amazing, and it also features the debut of Breacher, who is now on the Flash as Danny Trejo. So
and Rupture too, and a few other characters. They took
and Rupture. So I would say ignore Justice League of America and just go read that Vibe series
if you want some good Vibe stuff.
Fair enough. Okay, I can check that out.
But they fought the Shaggy Man, Jason. The Shaggy Man.
No, the Shaggy Man did not happen in comic books.
No. Nathan Berg showing us some love. Tanisha Marshall says, I remember James Robinson's league had all female leaguers except Dick Grayson. I just found that really funny. I don't remember that run.
He wrote the Sidekick League.
Oh,
right.
And I call it that because that's the Justice League that's made up of Mon-El, Dick Grayson as Batman.
Okay.
Donna Troy as Wonder Woman. Cyborg's on the Justice League in that run. But it's basically like the Teen Titans have become the Justice League.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Titans of Tomorrow.
It wasn't executed that well.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
And Mr.
Mark Bagley also drew it in the very beginning.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. Man, not. I remember. What was it? Remember Mark Bagley's run on Trinity? Does that count?
Yeah,
There's a couple that there was a stretch for where it's like, can I put Justice Society on here? Does Earth 2 count?
Right?
I mean, I almost considered bringing up Kingdom Come.
Oh, it's on the list.
Story.
Kingdom Come is a Justice League story. Is it a run?
Yeah.
I'd say so. I mean, it's basically like it's its own series and its own reality.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that like The Kingdom or any of the spin-offs are any good, but certainly Kingdom Come is, you know.
Yeah, and I would put Kingdom Come together with that series they did, Justice.
Yes.
You know, which is definitely about the Justice League.
Yeah, although very different creators. I think Kingdom Come, obviously, Mark Waid, Alex Ross, it's probably going to be the best thing, or the thing that Mark Waid will always be known for.
Yes.
Whereas the Justice was like Jim Kruger, and like Alex Ross didn't even do all the art. I think Doug Braithwaite did some of that.
Yeah, he didn't do all of it. Yeah, you're right.
But still cool, and of course, huge homage to the Super Friends in that one. You could tell there was just the reason why I make such a stark distinction between Justice and Kingdom Come is because there were two very, very different like purposes behind those series. They were like, okay, with Mark Waid's like, I gotta talk about Image and how it's ruining comics, and also how the kids need to get off my lawn, and Jim Kruger's like, and I gotta remember my cartoon show that I liked a lot and make it look really, really awesome. I want it to look like I remember it, and here it is. And Alex Ross like, I remember that show too. I'm in. And damn, great, two great series, very different, even though they look very similar. But yeah, those are both on my list as well. So you know, shout out to Mark Waid and Kingdom Come. Good job. Well, I crapped on him earlier. I was like, Tower of Babel's overrated, but Kingdom Come is worth every goddamn penny. He's the dude.
It's interesting when you look at somebody like Mark Waid. You know, this guy that sort of seems to have written every character ever when he actually hasn't. And he got a Justice League run that I think he only got like 20 issues.
Yeah, and
you know, it's okay. It has a couple great stories in it, and he's kind of done the same thing with Avengers now. Like he has this Avengers run. But I don't know if it's really that great.
Oh, it's not. You know? Oh, no.
It keeps never getting started. That's the biggest problem with it. He's tried to start like through 3 different relaunches.
The other question is, what is Mark Waid's obsession with Kang? This is like Jason Aaron and the Orb all over again. For whatever reason,
he's gonna make Kang happen.
Waid loves Kang, and no one else agrees. Like, Kang is so boring, and you can't do much with him because he's all about time travel and paradoxes. So if you don't know what you're doing, it will suck. Arguably, the best thing Mark Waid ever did with Kang was Captain America: Man Out of Time, which was like an out-of-continuity kind of birthright story for Captain America, which we did on back issues, and it's just great. That's
my Cap origin.
You could literally go, yeah, no, that's the origin, just the end. Yeah, there you go.
Yep,
that's fine. It's great. However, then you get like Mark Waid on Spider-Man, and it's awful. His Brand New Day, it was awful, and his House of M Spider-Man tie-in was the worst. He did a Doctor Strange run, which is why I was like, he's taking over for Doctor Strange, I think. He's going to take Strange into space. And I'm like, oh. But he wrote...
His Doctor Strange run was terrible.
The Doctor is out. By the way, pick up your copies of The Doctor is Out. There's a girl character he creates. It's kind of like a surrogate daughter. Dollars to donuts, this motherfucker is going to put her in this space book because he promises at the end of that story that he's going to rescue her from whatever hell he left her in, and then no one cared, so Mark Waid's going to be like, well, literally the last time I wrote Doctor Strange was when I did that. I'm going to bring that character back. I don't know who this character is that Jason Aaron created, but get her out of here.
Take your bets, everybody.
So, watch out. Exactly right. New character.
Damn it. I hated that run, and I was so excited because Mark Waid's a great writer, and then it's because it was just called Strange, and it was when he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh yeah, no, that was that was when he was like he's Doctor Strange. I wear a trench coat outside, even though it's 60 degrees. Yeah, that was his run.
Because that was the start of Bendis giving the Sorcerer Supreme title to everyone.
Anyone who has magic, except for Doctor Doom.
He has it anymore. I think he had it for a volume.
Yeah. No, he had it. Doctor Strange, I remember Bendis being so excited because he's like, I took away Sorcerer Supreme. Anybody can be Sorcerer Supreme now. Any writer can do whatever they want. Fine, I'll do it because no one else cares. And then he gave it to Brother Voodoo, and they got a book out of it, and then he gave it back.
And everyone was like, "We don't care about Brother Voodoo."
Yeah, no, we don't care. Yeah, we all collectively don't give a shit.
And now Brother Voodoo will forever show up in the background of teams.
And then Bendis like, screw you, I'll kill off Brother Voodoo.
He does.
And then everyone else went, nah. But anyway, yeah, Mark Waid, spotty at best.
Let me go crazy town here. Let's. I think we've kind of talked through most of the Justice League runs, right, gentlemen?
Yes, there's only one more I have left, and
let's hear it.
It's the show.
I also have one.
Yeah.
Oh, the show. That's an excellent
Paul
one.
Dini, Bruce Timm, Dwayne McDuffie, and Jamie DeMatteis. The show is arguably one of the best Justice League runs / incarnations of all time.
Yes.
It's
if not
Because
the
it crystallizes everything we love.
Easily. I think the show should be a template. I think it almost was a template, like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that show that lasted 3 seasons miraculously. 2 seasons? Damn.
2 and some web shorts.
That show is basically just a Justice League Unlimited show.
And it's great!
And it's great. And that's the thing. Justice League / Justice League Unlimited is a perfect distillation of everyone's origins, of everyone's incarnations. It gets the Hawk people right, even though it's still convoluted and complicated. They're aliens, except for Carter Hall, who's reincarnated, and what?
But it's always complicated.
But you can never extricate yourself from complication when it comes to Hawk people. But arguably gives us the best version of Jon Stewart, best version of Martian Manhunter, and of course plays with Superman and Batman and their relationship, makes it complicated, highlights the godhood of the Justice League. It's just a perfect distillation of everything you like, which is why I say the same thing about Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's just a perfect distillation of everything you like and everything you think you remember about that team. And it's invaded the zeitgeist such that now the comics are reflecting the show. Yeah. Straight up. It's just, what do you guys want from Justice League? I don't know what you want. And they're like, just do the show. Just give us the fucking show.
We want a hot girl. We want her to look like she does on the show.
We want her to look like it, and more importantly, we want her to act like it. We want her to be Shayera from that. Yep. And we had a couple of Super Chat suggestions. I want to jump... We should talk about the show a little bit more, but I want to acknowledge them. Mr. Roboto says, JSA, Justice League Beyond, Justice Lords. Fair enough. Yes, and those movies are folded into the cartoon. And Jai Shahdev says, Injustice. Is Injustice a Justice League book, and do they count?
Really. I mean, it is and is. It's kind of a DC Universe book that shifts perspectives.
Yeah.
It kind of I would argue that's more of an Elseworlds book than a Justice League book.
Big time. But you know what? I would, if it were 1997, they might have called it Elseworlds Justice League and just made it.
They probably would have. Yeah.
But they wouldn't have. You know what's funny? They would have. 20 years ago, if they were making a comic like this, they would have been like, well, it has to end. It has to stop right here. They would never have pushed it this far.
Yeah.
But getting back to the show, gentlemen, your thoughts.
Justice League, the animated series, amazing, great, everything you want it to be. Hey, here's a weird one I put in here, and it's one I'm surprised we haven't brought up yet, even if just for historical sake. What about Gardner Fox's Justice League run? He's the guy who started it all, right?
Oh.
Shouldn't he get a little credit? I mean, his name's on the first one, right?
I'll give him credit for having their first adventure be against Starro.
Yes.
And I'll give him credit for the first member that joins the Justice League being Green Arrow, which I think is a smart idea. I've read a lot of the Justice League Golden Age or Silver Age stuff for Geek History Lesson and everything like that. It's funny. I found with other heroes, you can read the Silver Age and you can get a piece out of it. You can be like, oh, I get why this worked.
Right.
For some reason with the Justice League Silver Age stuff, to me I don't know. I don't know why that book worked. There's nothing. I gain nothing from it. I read it and I'm just like, this is pretty dopey.
Yes.
Oh, they're making it up as they go along.
Yeah.
No, big time.
Because even Superman Silver Age, which is super silly and ridiculous, I can read it and be like, if you were a sci-fi fan in the 50s and 60s, I get how you look at this book and be like, yeah. But with Justice League, I don't get it.
No, I made the same point. I made a Flash reading order video a while back, and in one of them I'm like, you should read The Flash of Two Worlds. It's really fun. That is silly and old, but it still has value. Justice League, I am hard pressed to find value outside of the cover image.
Look at the covers. The covers are great.
Look at the team doing stuff. They're fighting the Starro. Like, that's it. Yeah. And even then, like, most of the team, you're like, who? You know, there's no Superman, there's no Batman, there's no Wonder Woman fighting Starro. You're like, oh. It's not.
Well, right.
It's iconic, but in terms of the history of the team and not for DC, you know, I feel like, and I feel like there's somebody in the chat right now who probably knows this for a fact. I feel like that image is not anywhere up in the DC offices. Jason, can you confirm?
Which image is this again? Sorry?
Justice League #1, like the image of the Justice League fighting Starro.
No,
really?
No, I don't think it's. I can't think of a single place it's up.
But I'll bet there's at least 2 Harley Quinns up. Like a cardboard cutout or a wooden panel image.
There's one. I think there's one, but I don't think there's 2.
Okay.
There's more Jokers.
More Jokers, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of Jokers and there's a lot of Batman.
They know who pays the bills over there.
Batman, you say? Interesting. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that character, but well, we don't have time.
Little underground character, little indie. I don't know if you'll make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, does a CSA count as a run?
Which version?
I don't know. That's what Mr. Roboto asked. But, you know.
Then no.
Yeah, no. They're the crime syndicate. I say no. All right, so Jason, you were taking this conversation someplace else. Let's hear it. Where are we going?
So I want to ask. I want to ask you guys. So we know Scott Snyder's taking over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to just hear like some predictions about where you think he takes the team. How long do you think he's on this book? And just general thoughts about what you think is coming down the pike. Where do you think they're going with Justice League?
I'm going to say at least 20 issues.
Okay.
It could stop at 20 issues, but I'm saying 20 issues is going to be the run.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'll that's my first prediction is at least 20 issues, maybe more, but no fewer than that. I think it will have a lot of meandering stories that ultimately end disappointingly. I think there will be a big portion of characters who are going to be marginalized or forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Aquaman.
Poor Aquaman.
You know, we're going to get a lot of weird history lessons about places besides Gotham. These are just Scott Snyder tropes. Like, dude, I love Scott Snyder. He's a friend of the show, even though he'd never appear on the show. But every Batman story opens with, did you know about the architecture of the sewer system of Gotham City? Because it's going to parallel this thing that Batman's going to do at the end of the story that only really slightly it connects. And and I'm going to spend 3 or 5 pages telling you about this freaking character who built the sewer systems or the highest building or this or the Gotham currency or whatever the hell. It's a weird trope that just doesn't work. I don't care.
I really hope he does that for the Watchtower. Do you know the Watchtower was developed back
Oh my god. Yes,
1866.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, the Watchtower design was stolen from like Da Vinci and then redeveloped by blah 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 and you know, the metal, you know, when Batman had it designed, he had like traces of kryptonite built into the metal, like yeah.
My biggest worry about, and you nailed it, that's exactly how every Batman story starts and Batman issue of his starts. I worried that what'll happen with Justice League is exactly what happened with Batman the New 52. If you remember, like, he came up with Court of Owls, right?
Right.
And then he came up with Death in the Family, and then he came up with 0 Year. And do you remember that DC did tie-in things with every one of those stories?
Yes.
So, like, they were like, oh man, Court of Owls is selling like crazy. All right, everybody ties into Court of Owls.
Night of the Owls! Yeah.
Everybody ties into 0 Year. Everybody ties into Death in the Family. So I'm worried because we have this No Justice thing coming up here pretty soon before Justice League.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's event number 1 of 5. And I have a feeling that every 6 issues, Justice League's going to do something that's going to connect to every title.
Right.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Because that happened in all his Batman arcs as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you'll see 1 issue of every run tie in some way that will be collected in its own volume.
Yep.
Yeah. at the very least, James Tynion the Fourth will get a lot of work. Because
Good for him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean he is. We've met him. He's a very lovely person, and a protege of Scott Snyder, and will be happy to do whatever Scott Snyder doesn't have time to do. By the way, Stephen W. Fathery says, "Does anyone else like James Robinson's run?" Dude, we already talked about it. Mm-hmm. But no, I'm sorry, but that's a fair point.
I like Robinson on Earth too. That was kind of like a Justice League.
Yeah,
I did like that.
Did this? Here's the thing. I'm worried about the art teams for this book because Scott Snyder the spirit is willing. You know, Snyder's like, I could do 12 arcs and they'll all be huge, and you know that one of them is going to be against the Court of Freaking Owls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'll probably be called something like The Last Night of the Owls, and he'll be like, I'm done with the Owls. I've obviously run out of ideas for them. We're going to have the Justice League end it. Batman put the little, like, coup d'etat at the end, and I'll put them in a box, and some other person who's less talented than me will open the box immediately afterwards.
The group needs some serious rehab, and after the last couple arcs other people wrote that he wasn't involved in, he really needs to make them scary again.
And I don't... there's no question he'll have, like, a tower battle like that. Yeah, I'm done with them.
Go away. They were, to me, they were done with Court of Owls.
I agree.
Done. Never talk about them again.
100%. I agree. I was like, they killed themselves. Cool. That was awesome. What a cool run. And then, like, they kept popping up and they had a character. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
There was the Parliament of Owls, the International Owl Syndicate you didn't even know about.
Or care.
Yeah, no one cares anymore about the Court of Owls, I think.
No, I think we're done. I think, and that's why it's like, hey, Scott Snyder can do something with them. He'll be like the last thing of the Owls. Nobody did anything with Lincoln March, right? Like, he's not running around. I know he was in the weekly series.
They killed Lincoln March in Nightwing, I think, or Robin War. It was one of the two.
Yes, Robin Wars. The rest of the council buried him alive for being a shitlord.
So they could just dig him up then, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Get ready for the League of Owls.
That is totally going to happen. That is exactly the title. Damn, man, nice call.
Yep. Or what's a name for a giant bird sanctuary or something?
Like like a sanctuary.
There you go. They'll go against the aviary of Owls.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Oh, and there's different. This is the sea owl, and this is the wonder owl.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah, if Dark Knight's Metal is any indication, we're going to see a lot of counter characters. We're going to see a lot of cool. Here's the thing: the dude knows how to write it.
Familial histories. That's another one.
Oh yeah. We're gonna see like the twisted brother of Aquaman or some goddamn thing. I don't know.
Or like their great grandpa was doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
Yes. Oh, we'll find out that like a great grandfather, like Bruce's great grandfather, was like a longshoreman who drilled in the seas, and he committed horrible atrocities against the Atlanteans, and Aquaman and Batman will have some tension then. I don't know. Anyway,
everything will be tied to metals.
Yeah. Well,
it's all about
it has
metals.
To. Really quick, Jacob Levin Fay says, thoughts on JLA Year 1? Is New Frontier JLA? These aren't runs, these are story arcs. So I want to put a pin in that. I appreciate the super chat and I do appreciate the question, but these are not like runs. These are just story arcs. These are like your favorite episodes or chapters in Justice League history. New Frontier, I don't know if it's a run. I don't even know if it's a Justice League book. I think it's called Justice League New Frontier, but like it's a story that's separate and contained. I mentioned Tower Babel only because I'm like, that's the thing everybody remembers from the Waid run, but really there's other things. But yeah, JLA Year 1, meh. Justice League or New Frontier, it's great, but you know, we'll talk about that some other time.
I like JLA Year 1. I would call that a run just because the fact that it's 12 issues,
right?
And it happened at the same time that Morrison was writing JLA. That's the only one I would get a pass on that.
Fair enough. Red Samurai, which Secret Society characters should appear in Snyder's run?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Who's left in the Secret Society? They keep changing up who their actual membership is, because the one in Deathstroke was different than the one we saw other places.
Yeah.
You'll see. Like, I guarantee you, we're gonna see like the Injustice Gang, because you know, with as much as Joker has been in Dark Knight's Metal, that you can tell that Scott's gonna do something with Lex Luthor and Joker. Like, he's going to build his Injustice gang.
Do you think? I mean, like, will Johns let him?
For that sequel.
What's that?
Will Johns let him?
I think so.
Because I know that because there's something happens to Lex and Joker. They're both intrinsically tied to Doomsday Clock. That book is coming out next year. God only knows what the hell's going to happen.
When the next issue comes?
I don't know. I mean, no, actually, the next issue is this week or next week. But
it's not this week. It's next.
Yeah,
week.
Metal and Doomsday Clock same week. Holy crap!
Because Metal ends next week, right?
Yeah.
Forgivably.
Yep.
Taylor Petcher says
there'll be some. I guarantee you. Also, there's going to be some big tie-in to his Justice League run at the end of Metal.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah. Taylor Petcher, Snyder drove both the Court and Hush into the ground with Batman Eternal. I mean, Hush again. Kill him at the end of Hush. For me, I don't. When they were oh no, he put on Bruce Wayne's face. I'm like, dumb.
Yep.
That's a Clayface ripoff. Moving on.
Hey, at least he thankfully went away for long enough. What is it? Tim Seeley's going to be writing a tie-in to Batman Catwoman's wedding, Nightwing versus Hush. And I'm like, all right, he's been gone a bit. Let's see what he's got.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Mr. Roboto says, anyone read Justice League Dark? Man, we forgot Justice League Dark.
It's good.
Yeah, it had ups and downs.
Parts.
It has absolutely no business being called Justice League.
Yeah.
It is just so they can try and sell more books.
Yeah.
That should not be called Justice League.
I weirdly like that name though, Justice League Dark. I think it's I totally understand why you're against it, and I totally understand that. But I don't know what else you would call that book.
No.
Midnight Suns. Damn it.
That's not them. But no,
Vertigo's best.
Yeah, right. The Vertigo gang. I don't know. It's
The Vertigo bunch.
Yeah. I mean, they're cool characters. They work as a team. It's very exciting to see them all together. Are they a league? Do they fight for justice? I don't know.
Should be Constantine and his shitty friends.
Right. Yeah, Constantine.
I like that too.
Steal a page out of the Aquaman book. It's Constantine and the Others or something.
The Others.
God damn, by the way, don't ever do that again. We want to push a team. First of all, I'm going to couch him with Aquaman. And secondly, I'm going to call him the Others.
Aquaman was on fire at that moment. Geoff Johns
I
was
know.
the best run of
all time. But nobody was asking for that spinoff.
No, and why don't you just call it Aquaman and the Rest or Aquaman and the Irrelevance? It's a book that says you don't have to buy this book. Please don't.
It's so sad because they were already called the Others because they had the other Atlantean artifacts.
I know,
but it's not a good team name.
No, and then the art got real bad, real fast. So yeah. But in any case, Justice League Dark. Thank you, Mr. Roboto, for that question. As far as this goes, the hell are we talking about? I completely blanked out. Oh yeah, Snyder's run and what we expect. Expect delays because if Jim Chung and Jorge Jimenez are drawing this book, it'll come out every 3 months until Chung quits.
No, I think it'll come out every month. It'll just be a bunch of fill-in guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we get 3 issues before there's an art change.
Yeah. Big time. I mean,
2 of those are in June.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Marvel 2-in-1. When did Chung stop drawing it? That was how many issues you'll get before he was like, "Oh, bye. I'll go to DC."
But boy, it looked pretty before.
Here's the thing: Chung should draw more Justice League posters. He can do covers. He can even do a special annual or something. But don't put him on a monthly title. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Or they should give him a backup.
Yeah.
He has 5 pages a month to do.
There you go. He could do that. And of course, and Jimenez, dude cranks out work at the quality I've seen. I've never seen.
He's a machine.
He is a machine. He does need time. I don't want him to get burned out.
But he did pretty good on Super Sons. He would draw, I think, 4 or 5 issues before, and then they would give him one off.
Yes.
And then he'd come back for another 4 or 5.
That's what I'm saying. The dude really can deliver.
He can do it.
He can do it, and
I really do it.
He deserves it because he's earned his stripes. He's one of the definitive Superman artists at this point. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
His Superman covers, that cover of the crowd looking up at Superman's shadow. Holy shit! it's one of those things that, again, I'll bring it back to Spider-Man, where it's like, if you draw Spider-Man in a pose that you've seen before, you're wasting my time. If you want to like prove you're an artist, you have to draw Spider-Man in a pose you've never seen him in before. Mm-hmm. It's the same with Superman. You've seen Superman do everything, every image of Superman, you can find another complement image. If you're doing a Superman cover, you have to give us something we've never seen before, and him manages to do it every single time. He is so goddamn good. I cannot sing his praises enough. And come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So him just
he drew Smallville season 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, that was like his first DC work, which, by the way, I love that book.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks in a row you've gotten to mention Smallville season.
Yeah, man.
That's bingo.
It's a great book. Go read it. It was the best Superman book during the New 52. It was the only good Superman book that DC was putting out.
That's fair.
But also, I think he did like Earth 2, World's End, and stuff like that. Like, he did all these weird titles, and he didn't get his big shot until Superman.
The funny thing is, for me, I didn't even like anything that said Earth 2. I was like, oh, I don't care. It's not my Earth. Moving on.
And in the end, you didn't need to care.
No, and then it was destroyed. But
until it got destroyed.
But every book that he was working on was a book that would fall completely under my radar. So then when he finally does Super Sons, I'm like, oh, who is this guy? He's so great. And everyone's like, yeah, he's great, duh. I'm like, oh, right, yeah, no, he is great. Shit. I should have known this months ago. If not years ago. But, what are some things that Snyder does right that we are excited to see him do in Justice League?
That's a very good question.
You guys think
narration.
Yes. Here, I'm going to turn my light on. I'll be right
back. The dude writes boss-ass narration.
I will say this for Scott. He takes chances.
Yes.
Whether those chances work sometimes or don't, I will admit, and we all know these comic book writers. There's certain comic writers that just basically give you the same standard story over and over and over again.
Yep.
And some writers can pull that off really well, and some writers can't. I admire that Scott takes chances, like putting Gordon as Batman. That's a big chance.
And it was pretty cool.
About halfway.
Yeah.
I love the design of it.
I love that design. It's just too bad it wasn't...
I have that action figure of Robo Bunny, Bat Bunny, or whatever you want to call
that design... The Gordon suit is better than the bunny.
Yes. But did Mr. Bloom really work?
No.
No.
I wanted to write a Slender Man story. I like horror.
Good for you.
Thing, Justice League. It'd be a lot of horror-centric stories.
Yeah. And I would say that for Metal too. Everything that Metal does really right, he always has a wrong thing. But like, there are some things in Metal that have genuinely surprised me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And for a Justice League book, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And he's not a hack. It's not like he's just throwing things at the wall and hoping it works and defying continuity and story, although Metal is the closest thing to that I found. Where he's like, I want to do Sandman and stuff, and I don't understand who Daniel Hall is, but I'm going to do it anyway, dadgummit. And it's like...
That'll be another thing.
Daniel did not need to be in that story.
Not at all, and he just wanted to do a Sandman stuff, and like, I get it, but also you didn't do it. Like, if you're... It's tied. He's Hawkman's grandson...
Something like that.
What's wrong with you? You didn't do anything you didn't tie it in at all. But you know what? Like, you know who Sandman is, and I give you props for that. He does take chances. He's not like Bendis, where like Bendis is like, I want to do something cool, and then I did it, and then any editor's like, none of that lines up with anything.
Bendis is also the guy that he's like, I'm going to give you 5 issues of talking, and the only thing that's ever going to happen is going to be in issue 6.
Big time. Oh, also, he J.K. Rowling's it up, not Snyder, this is Bendis. Every last page is a holy shit, oh my god, full page, no other panels moment. Go back and look at every issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. Every issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, one full page, holy shit, oh my god. Every 5th issue, it actually delivers. On like, where there's one issue I remember where Nick Fury says, he's like, your father might have started the next world war, and he's like, oh, and then the next issue goes, nah, maybe I was exaggerating. No, he didn't do that. And I'm like, that's not warranted. Snyder doesn't do that.
This morning, overdoing it.
Snyder does not do that. He earns the cool moments, or at the very least, genuinely wants them to work. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because like I follow him on Twitter. I I like him as a person, and I want him to succeed. Like he just seems like he's like, I got a cool idea. Let's try this. Swamp Thing's going to show up in this book.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for.
I wonder how much fighting he'll do with. I wonder if we'll read this Justice League book and think like, oh yeah, this is definitely a Batman book.
I think
I wonder how. Because some writers, when writing team books, have a hard time balancing the characters.
They zero in on the character they like or relate to the most.
Exactly, and I wonder if this is going to be a very Batman-heavy Justice League run.
I think it won't because everyone's expecting it to be.
Oh, I think he's the opposite.
Yeah, I think he's plugged in. Yeah, I think he's plugged into what everyone's expecting him to do at this point, and so he goes like, okay, I'm the Batman writer. Everybody expects me to do Batman and to be only Batman. He's going to be criticized no matter what cool Batman moment there is, even if it's earned.
Yep.
And he knows this, so I know he's going to be like, I got to make it really, really sparingly. Like, there's going to be a moment where Batman's going to be smarter than the Justice League because he is. And Morrison does it in every issue, so everyone should shut up if he does it in one arc of his 30-issue run of Justice League, but he's going to do it, and people are still going to be like, "Fucking of course, Batman writer jerking off Batman." I think he's going to be really sensitive about it.
Another thing I'm sure we're going to see, some really nice-looking annuals with artwork by Jock.
Oh yes,
you're right.
We are going to see a Wonder Woman story with Jock drawing it, which is something everyone needs to see, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna pick. I think he's gonna pick like an underutilized character. My money's on Hawkgirl, but a character that's been marginalized or underused or
I bet it's Hawkgirl since he introduced her in Metal.
Yeah, but he's gonna be like, here's a character that deserves some love and attention. I'm gonna Batman this character, and so you're gonna go. You're gonna be like 15 issues in and go, I wonder if Hawkgirl's going to be the catalyst for this one. You're going to go, Jesus Christ, Scott, I get you like this. I get you're trying to share your powers with this one character, but, let Cyborg or Martian Manhunter or Superman be cool. For God's sake.
It'd be nice, too, from, a POV standpoint, to be like, okay, you know what? Hawkgirl is the new one on the team right now. This is why we're justifying going back to an issue number 1.
Yep.
Follow this character as they join the team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say, if I can liken it to anything, it'll be like a kid's book where Superman and Batman are the parents, but the main focus is going to be on the kids or the other characters. So you're going to see a lot of Martian Manhunter and Cyborg and Hawkgirl and Jon Stewart. We're going to see that relationship blossom, I'm sure, because they're going to be like,
I'm okay with that.
We got to do the show, which good, because that's what I want to see. I want to see Jon Stewart be cool.
Agreed.
And Snyder knows his lore. You'll see a sequel to the Trial of Green Lantern now that Jon Stewart's on that team.
Interesting.
He's read some books. He knows.
But where are the Manhunters at right now?
Not here.
Who knows?
Who cares?
Who knows? I have so dropped off of anything Green Lantern.
Right?
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought we'd have an overexposure of Green freaking Lantern? Maybe it's because for some reason the Guardians seem to think that Earth is the only place lanterns can come from now.
Yeah, right?
Holy shit. Part of the appeal of Green Lantern was that it was full of a menagerie of different cultures and creatures. But we gotta have 5 humans. If there were 6 Toma Rays, people would be like,
there's 6 humans now. Yeah.
Right? If there were if there were 3 Kilowoggs, people go, that's a lot of friggin' Kilowoggs.
Yeah.
It's too many Kilowoggs. There's 6 humans.
I could see Snyder doing some sort of sequel to the White Martians.
Oh yeah.
Because that's going to be a horror movie.
Yep. And I'm also putting money on this. If his Justice League roster is the animated roster from the cartoon series, I can guarantee you his villain team is going to be based out of the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And it's going to look like the Super Friends cartoon.
Sweet.
Yeah. Ooh, also Mongol will show up.
Yep.
That's okay.
Fine.
He showed up in Metal.
Yeah, but he didn't use him very much, so they're going to show up. He's going to be that. He's going to do that thing where it's I can't use Darkseid. Johns likes to use Darkseid. I'll use Mongol, the rip-off Darkseid. But yeah,
you can see the Mongol family with his son and daughter and everything else.
I don't want to see that. I saw that already in that book, that Trinity book.
Oh yeah, that was a thing that happened.
That was dumb.
The Son of Mongol was in Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness' Superman run, and I actually thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
In that.
Are we going to retread the Black Mercy? Are we going to see that again with the whole
Yes.
Justice League getting
Yes.
Black Mercied?
Yeah, even
Yeah, it'll
though...
be the entire Justice League.
For the team who has everything.
Oh my god, the League who has everything. Who has anything.
Also,
yeah.
don't be surprised if we get a sort of a retread of the Cadmus art from the cartoon.
That's fine too. That's one of my favorite arcs.
Didn't they just do a thing with Justice League where it's like humanity doesn't trust them and they're, they're brought
Yes, in the
down?
Christopher Priest run. That's happening right now.
Yeah.
And Doomsday Clock.
Oh,
And
big
Doomsday
time.
Clock.
Ooh,
It's supposed to be set a year ahead of current DC.
right. Good call. Red Samurai asks, favorite JLU arcs or episodes?
So many.
Think about that for a second while I read the next one. MT Kaiser
That's a
Soze.
show unto itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys read a Jonathan Hickman Justice League?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean...
I'd rather see him on Legion.
Ugh.
I'd rather see him on Legion.
I think a lot of people like that idea, yeah.
I feel I've gotten his Justice League run when I read Avengers.
Right? Yeah,
You know,
we saw them.
So I don't want to put him on to get basically another run. I mean, look at Secret War. It's his Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I don't want a repeat of that, but I feel if you give him Legion, he's going to show us some shit that's going to blow our mind.
And it will tie into the... Like, it'll be what Metal... What Snyder thought Metal was. Like, where...
It'll also make the Legion cool.
That'll be nice! Because I think
It'll
they
take
like
3 years to get there, though.
It will. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, sure, like he'd do a great job in Justice League, but yeah, I feel I've already read a Justice League run. It's called Avengers.
That's the thing. Like, everybody has an awesome Justice League pitch. Give this, brilliant, hungry writer something that he can really sink his teeth into.
Yeah. Or you know what? Jonathan Hickman would probably kill on Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
A lot of history there. A lot of characters.
But as far as episodes, I'm just going to go ahead and say that DeMatteis' adaptation of For the Man Who Was Everything is freaking perfect.
That's really good.
Yes.
And it's one of the few, one-and-done episodes, too.
Yeah. It's one of the few that have been attributed to Alan Moore being like, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I approve of that adaptation.
I don't know the name of the episode, but I love it. It was written by Warren Ellis, and it was in the 3rd season, and it was the one where the weird alien thing is in the Arizona desert, and they're all trying to fight it.
Yes, the Darkheart!
Yes, and that was the episode where it revealed the Justice League had the laser, so the army freaked out.
That was amazing.
And Adam was the focus of that
Yes,
one.
yeah. I think that's one of my, if not my favorite episode of that series.
What's the two-part? It's not Joker's Wild. Is it Dreamcatcher's Ace, the one where they go to Vegas and fight the Joker and
That
the
is
Royal
I
Flush
think
Gang?
that is the Joker's
Oh, that's
Wild,
a
isn't
good
it?
one, and it happens in real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I also
season 2.
Yeah, I also like A Better World, the one where they go to the Batman Beyond future.
Yep.
That was a great one.
Really good one.
Oh, and the Justice Lords. Justice Lords was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't beat that one. That's really good.
That Superman
that
suit
was-
is amazing.
If you love the Justice Lords, you got to read the Kyle Higgins sequel series he did for the digital comics, Justice Lords Beyond. That was such a great sequel.
Well,
there was a great digital series, Justice League Unlimited, that Dustin Nguyen helped wrote and drew and stuff like that. That was a really Justice League Unlimited. It was great.
Yeah.
But it was about the Beyond team and whatever.
That's cool. We are 20 minutes over time. I just realized this.
All right.
So, thank you all for watching. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the show. And thanks for sticking around for a while. You know what? We really needed to hash out these things. We're talking about something as big as Justice League. It's going to go over time.
Right.
But that being said, what's happening on y'all channels that you want to share?
Joel?
Oh, okay. I was going to let Jason go first.
No,
He's
I'm
the
going to
guest,
go
but same as it ever was. If you head on over to my channel right now, you can see the newest episode of the Comic Multiverse. That's the show I do with Matt. We talk about news. We gave our thoughts. We basically did a roundup of Geek TV. We talked about the end of Star Wars Rebels. We talked about Jessica Jones. We talked about everything that's going on the CW. It's a good time. You probably enjoyed. And, of course, I'll have reviews coming out this week of everything that came out.
Nice. I did the Killing Joke on back issues with my parents. That'll be out in about...
With your parents?
With my parents. That'll be out in a couple minutes. So
Oh,
stay
get
tuned.
the popcorn.
It's fun.
this gonna be good.
Yeah, I changed the name of the episode. It's called "Explaining the Killing Joke to My Parents" because you know what? That's how it goes. But don't be fooled. It's not the change of the show or anything. It's just I changed it because I'm trying to grow here. If that picked up, it'd be nice.
I'm also changing my titles right now to try and get recognized more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jason, what's happening on Jawiin, man?
We got the DC TV reviews as always. Today I tried out a live stream version of Jason Reed's comics.
Yes, how'd it go?
It went pretty well. I picked, like my favorite DC, my favorite Marvel that you should go check out at comic book shops. And yeah, just trying to put out other videos. So there's a video almost every day. So go check it out.
Yeah, and you've been cranking it out, man. Your production has increased. You're making some great stuff and trying some new things.
Yeah,
good for you.
Oh, another thing, if you're anywhere near the Portland area, I'm going to be at Wizard World Portland, April 13th to 15th. So come say hi.
Nice. That's a great reminder. Thank you. On the 31st, Saturday the 31st, we are doing a panel at Zap Comic-Con in Wayne, New Jersey. Go to zapcomiccon.com to find out more information about our panel, where to go, what time to be there. I think it's 11 a.m., but I don't remember if that's true or not. So go to the website, check it out, and see me and Tiffany talk about comics, YouTube, and everything in between. We look forward to hanging out with you, and we'll bring a couple of posters. Maybe we'll have a booth for swag. We got a number of posters that did not sell yet at New York Comic Con. I saved them for online sales, but I'm still working on trying to get a big cartel store going. So
yeah,
that's the only place you can find ComicPOP merch is at New York Comic Con and at Zap Comic Con next week on Saturday. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys then. I am Sal, and this is Jason and Joel. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.